How does this help them?
You have trans
How does
friends.
this help
You
trans
know
people?
Do you have
that
any
it's
idea
difficult
how
to find your
difficult it
identity
is
and that people
to be a
accidentally
woman?
go down the
Riley has a
path.
very good
We've
riposte of
discussed
that.
this before.
Hang on, Riley.
Doesn't make you right.
You mentioned you have no idea how difficult it is to identify as trans. Let me ask you, do you have any idea how difficult it is to be a woman in today's climate, and then to be entirely mocked by a man merely posing to be a
That's
woman?
how
Do you
you
have
feel,
any
and that is not
how
true.
Riley Gaines made an appearance on the Piers Morgan Uncensored show, once again to own James Barr, aka gay British Anthony Michael Hall, in another debate about Dylan Mulvaney and transgenderism. James Barr thought he could get away with making his weak lefty points, but Riley Gaines obviously has common sense on her side, along with good values. So Riley completely annihilates him. Goes down on Piers Morgan Uncensored.
As their biological sex, although we can easily confirm that. Riley, great to have you on Uncensored. We'll get to the legal action you have against the NCAA in a moment. But first of all, Dylan Mulvaney, my real problem with this is you've got somebody making an absolute ton of cash by, it seems to me, mocking women and womanhood, despite until mid-20s identifying as a man because she was born a biological man.
Well, it doesn't seem to me, as a woman myself, I can tell you that's exactly what Dylan Mulvaney is doing. He's made a killing on mocking women with his stereotypical misogynistic comments, and you hit the nail on the head. This new song, right, reducing women down to picking up medication, being lazy, not being able to get out of bed, shopping and retail therapy, hooking up with men and being sex crazed. Again, as a woman, I have not lived that lifestyle. So that's what this is. It's a mockery of a woman, and let's be real. I think the most ironic part of this is he looks like a man. If you're watching that video, he looked like a man who was wearing a wig with pigtails. He's not fooling anybody.
You know what's funny too is that, like, even when there are like women who are transing to be men, I don't know what it is, but they always go with the most mockingest way possible. It's like whenever you see a woman transing into a man or something like that, it's always always the most douchiest version of a man. And it's the same thing with a man pretending to be a woman. It's always the most douchiest version of a woman. It's almost as if they're just mocking the opposite sex. And I don't think that's on purpose, but I wonder what it stems from, like, psychologically.
I mean, it's complicated. I have nothing but respect for people who transition, for transgender people. I want them to have the rights to fairness and equality.
You wouldn't have stopped Riley from misgendering.
Hang on, I'm going to come to that.
That's clearly not true.
This dude right here, James Barr, or gay British Anthony Michael Hall, as I like to call him, he's like Piers Morgan's like go-to if they need like a gay person on there, like a gay guy or something. It's like, oh yeah, we need a gay guy. Go call up gay British Anthony Michael Hall, see what he's up to, see if he's free. We need some gay representation on the panel. It's like he's the go-to. He's always on these when they're talking about these issues.
Gender.
No, but you would have stopped her from doing that on your program.
Well, okay, we'll come to you in a moment, James. Just wait. But Brandon, there's all these issues, misgendering and so on. What do you make of the wider thing of Dylan Mulvaney, this cultural phenomenon now in America, basically sending up what it means to be a woman?
I think it's absolutely appalling to give credit and credence to a person who's mocking women. Dylan Mulvaney, I don't think is serious whatsoever. You got a gay man who has a lust for fame, fortune, and what does he do? If it's being gay is not working out for you, you become trans and you try to make a lot of money, which is what Dylan Mulvaney has done. Dylan Mulvaney is not an example of women. He's not even trying to be a woman. He walks around with a 5 o'clock shadow and dresses up in women's clothes and mocks women. He's berating women. I have never in my life seen a woman act like Dylan Mulvaney. Not one person on this panel can show me a woman that's as flamboyant and radical and twitching and twisting and acting like Dylan Mulvaney.
Are you insane? Did you watch the Barbie movie? What are you talking about? What, and who are you to talk about who a woman is? You're a man. This is absolutely nonsense. Who
are you to talk about?
I'm not telling anyone who a woman is, but I'm certainly not telling someone who isn't a woman.
I've never seen a woman.
Do you think Dylan Mulvaney is doing women a favour with this?
Do you know what? Dylan Mulvaney is speaking to a huge generation of which none of you understand. Like, you guys are over.
That is my generation.
I don't know any woman, I've got to say, of any age who thinks that anything other than Dylan Mulvaney is taking the piss.
Nonsense. Well, so you don't know any woman under the age of what, 40?
I know lots of women under 40. Yeah.
Right, and you think they all think Dylan is taking the piss?
Yes, they do.
No, that's insane.
The ones
I will say, you've sat here on your show and you've bashed Madonna and Sam Smith and all of these other icons. So Dylan just
icons
joins,
to you, they're not to me.
Dylan just joins them in the whole of
But the
fame.
central allegation, James, is that what she does, and I think this video clip is absolutely indicative. She's making...
It's a pop song. Have you not seen her do a Lipa music video?
To be honest with you, I haven't got the energy to get into the misgendering debate, right? I think the whole personal pronoun thing is a lot of crap. But for the benefit of this conversation, let's move past that. I'll call her she, if that's what she wants to be called. But what she is not is a biological woman. Until her mid-20s, she identified as a gay man. And that's the point there that Brandon was making. And for someone who was a gay man to put their hand up and say, I'm now a woman, and by the way, I'm going to make tens of millions...
misunderstanding what...
Hang on. So make tens of millions of dollars mocking women, which is how many women see it. I think that is
mocking
wrong.
women, or Kylie was mocking women, or Madonna was mocking women just because
Kylie
they're
and Madonna are women.
Their femininity.
They're women.
It's not okay to say that, and you're misunderstanding how difficult it is to discover your identity as a woman.
I don't see Dylan Mulvaney struggling at all.
Dylan Mulvaney has documented
Dylan Mulvaney
struggle.
is reveling in mocking womanhood.
No,
well, actually, what gay British Anthony Michael Hall doesn't realize is that if someone were to come up and start like acting gay, you know, like, oh, really feminine and flamboyant, I'm like, oh my God, yeah, and doing that, he would think that, oh, they're mocking gay people. So how is this any different when Dylan Mulvaney dresses up like a woman and acts like a worst possible version of a woman?
I don't think Dylan Mulvaney, I don't take offense to what Dylan Mulvaney is doing because it makes sense. In the current media landscape that we live in, it makes sense for this man, it's a man, to become as flamboyant, effectively caricature of a woman. And I don't take offense to it because I treat Dylan Mulvaney like he is, which is a mentally unwell person. He is a mentally unwell person. I don't see him as a woman.
I'm not sure if he's mentally ill or just a big attention seeker. I think he just craves attention. Maybe it is mental illness, like he has an unhealthy obsession with getting attention. Because before he started pretending to be a woman, he was like an actor, like a Broadway guy, he was like a gay man, and he was very flamboyant and very like, you know, look at me. And so I think it's mostly out of he's just extremely... What do you guys think it's out of, though? Sound off in the comment section below. Smash that like button if you're enjoying so far. Let's continue.
He's not a woman. He's a mentally unwell person.
In a case like this, where Dylan Mulvaney's only identified as a woman for 2 years and was a gay man till her mid-20s, I don't think
do you realise that Dylan...
James, I don't think you have any right to compel women to say that this is
Do you understand how difficult it is to realise that you're trans, to understand the complexity? Do you understand the complexity of that?
Them?
You have trans
How does this help trans people?
Do you have any idea how difficult it is to be a woman?
Riley has a very good report.
We've discussed this before.
Hang on, Riley.
Doesn't make you right.
You mentioned you have no idea how difficult it is to identify as trans. Let me ask you, do you have any idea how difficult it is to be a woman in today's climate, and then to be entirely mocked by a man merely posing to be a
That's
woman?
How
do you
you
have
feel,
any
and that is not true. That is not Dylan's
Well, it's not just how I feel. There's been an avalanche. There has been an avalanche of people on TikTok, on the left and the right, coming out now saying, hold on, this is wrong, and this isn't the first time that Dylan Mulvaney has been under fire.
Here's the thing.
His first days of girlhood, he came out after day 365 or whatever day it was.
You can't compel people to do that.
Yes,
you can't. No, you can't. You can call Dylan Mulvaney. You can call Dylan Mulvaney whatever you want.
It's discrimination.
But Riley Gaines, of all people.
Listen, Riley, I do sympathise with you about how difficult it is to be a woman.
Riley Gaines has had to compete against biological males.
I want to listen to how difficult it is to be a woman because I want to understand that. I know that's tough. As a gay man, I'm also a victim of the patriarchy. We all bloody are.
Look, we don't need to do the identity
I've seen the Barbie movie.
Let me tell you something. You mentioned.
I've read the book. I understand.
You mentioned discrimination.
You being a woman.
You mentioned discrimination. Let me tell you something. Do you believe that it's okay?
No one's allowing me to finish a point.
What's your?
I mean, the whole panel except for Piers Morgan are all an oppressed group. So who should we listen to? Should we listen to the powerful, strong woman that's talking? Or do we need to listen to the strong, powerful gay man here? Do we need to listen to the strong, powerful black man here? Or do we need to listen to the strong, powerful black woman? I don't know. So now we need to look at our leftist ideology oppression rankings, you see, she's oppressed because she's a woman, but she's white. You know, he's oppressed because he's black, but he's a man. And he's straight, by the way, straight cisgender. So maybe he's more oppressed because even though he's white, he is still gay. So that's a little bit lower on the rankings than these two. But then this girl right here, well, I don't know what her sexuality is. I'm assuming she's heterosexual and cisgender, but she is a black woman. So, leftists out there, which one of these outrank each other? Which one should we listen to the most?
Am I allowed to speak?
Sure.
God, okay, fine, I finished.
What's the point? You haven't got one, have you?
My point is, Riley, that
Let me say something.
I understand how hard it is to be a woman and that you fought so hard to be a woman, and I have so much empathy with that, so I can understand why it is so upsetting when, in your view, someone who isn't a woman comes along and says they are, because it undermines all of the history of what women have been through.
Yes.
But that's not a trans woman's fault. That is men's fault. Men are the problem, not Dylan, not trans women.
Men are the problem.
Except
No,
trans women
lying
are
about
men.
objective
Men are the... Of course,
proof
I
is
knew
the
it would come back to
problem.
us.
That is what the problem is.
Riley?
Are you saying it's not? Are you
Let me
saying
tell
you're
you
not
something.
a victim of men? Because what are we talking
No,
about?
what
She's
I'm
a
saying
victim
here
of
is what we are
biological
suffering
men.
from as a nation. Really globally, what we're suffering from.
Forever have been a victim of men. That is truth.
No, she's
right?
a victim. She's a victim of gay men.
Here, let me take
That's
you
what
back.
this-
Let me
that's
tell
this
you
is
what
about.
I'm
So
a
gay men are the
victim
victim.
of.
Do you know what? Let's just pick on all the minorities.
Let me
Let's
tell
throw
you-
Megan in
Mulvaney
as well.
is
Let's
a
chuck
gay
in
man
Megan.
that's doing this.
You think
So
Megan's
is
a
Lil
minority?
Thomas and all
I am
these other
so
people.
done with this conversation.
Let
Yeah.
me tell you. Let
Isn't
me
it
tell
interesting
you
how
what I'm a
James wants
victim
to
of.
control everyone's thoughts?
No, I don't. I just want everyone to have a nice, civilized
Hang on.
conversation.
You want to control
Piers.
everyone's speech
Why
and
is
how
no
they
one-
speak and how they refer to people. They're not allowed to have their opinions.
Yes,
Only
they are.
You want to mansplain
not-
to women what they should be thinking, and at the same time you want to blame the
I'm
patriarchy.
not. I want everyone to be kind to everyone.
Oh, no, you don't.
That's what. Yes, I
Hold
do.
on, stop right
yes,
there.
I do.
Including people like
It is
me,
not
the
kind.
patriarchy. Want to
It
be
is-
kind to me?
It is not kind to ask a young girl to undress in front of a man. That is not kindness. What kindness
Right.
is. And if that's what you believe your definition of kindness is, you have a totally warped perception. And let me tell you, it's not inclusive to ask a girl like myself what happened to me and my teammates. It's not inclusive to ask us to smile and step aside and allow these men onto our podiums. That is not what inclusion is. That is exclusion. And it's exclusive to the very female athletes or women in general who Title IX in the women's sporting category was passed to protect and to honor and to celebrate and to uphold.
And
so I
Riley,
think we have
Riley,
very
for those
different
who-
definitions of what kindness really is.
Right. Is that,
I mean, Riley Gaines is 100% correct. You know, I've been doing debates where Andrew Wilson's been debating secular humanism, and that's their whole thing. Like, we determine what's good or bad if it does harm or not. But the thing is that, like, in this case, you have two positions, and both are trying to prevent harm. This dude right here is on the sides of the trans people and thinks that if you don't allow trans women to play in female sports or go into women's bathrooms, well, that's doing them harm and that's bad. Where everyone else who has common sense, like Riley Gaines here, is saying, well, you're doing women harm because you're allowing men to go into women's spaces and dominate women in sports, or go into the bathrooms where women and even little girls are in, and you're putting them into potential danger. And he wants to talk about, oh, well, I just want everyone to be kind. But as Riley Gaines said, it is not being kind to the women and the little girls who this is hurting. It is not kind to them. We shouldn't be doing this. We shouldn't be flipping all the rules around just to satisfy a very small minority of people, as gay British Anthony Michael Hall has brought up in other debates. It's a very small, trans people are the small portion of the population. So then, yeah, why do we need to flip all the rules around just to satisfy the needs of a very small minority? And the thing is, you're allowing access to predators to get to women because there's no proof that they're really trans. There's no proof that, like, before a trans woman walks into a restroom, there's no proof that they really feel like they're a woman, because they're really suffering from gender dysmorphia, because we're not checking IDs or we're not going through their medical history before they walk into the bathroom. So in order to allow the people who have gender dysphoria to go into the women's bathrooms, we have to let a man who maybe wants to creep on women and prey on women just dress like a woman and say, oh yeah, I'm trans too, let me just go right in there. But what do you guys think about this clip? I thought this was a great clip. Riley Gaines owning gay British Anthony Michael Hall yet again in the subject of transgenderism. Sound off in the comment section below with your thoughts. Subscribe to my channel if you enjoy content like this. And if you do enjoy content like this, if you like seeing Piers Morgan panels, I have a whole playlist for you that should be on the screen for you to click away and enjoy. I also have a whole bunch of other content very similar to this, very heated debates, very culture war stuff, very political stuff from a right-wing perspective. And if you like seeing that stuff, I got way more content that I think you'll enjoy.